How are you? I'm Jeff Slakey, and I am in front of the PUD 3 building here on Johns Prairie. I've got a special treat for us today, and I've always wanted to come in and talk with them about their the supplies they have, the different transformers and how big the wires are. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited about this. I was telling them that I want to see some of the equipment and how big it is, because sometimes when you're driving down the road, you can't really tell, and I want to know what it all has to deal with.
These are called voltage regulators, and you'll see these installed at various strategic locations throughout our distribution system. And they've got a great name because what they're called is exactly what they do. When it comes to power is made up of amps and volts. Amps times volts equals watts. And what these will do is they'll deal with the voltage side of things. So if we have an incoming voltage that is too low, these things can tap and they can actually increase the voltage. They can actually go up 10% or they could go down 10% if needed, depending on what the incoming voltage range is.
How do these bigger units come into play?
Those bigger units over there, those are station class regulators. You will see those in our Mountain View substation, Belfair substation, where we have regulators inside the substation. These are ones that are on the distribution line. As you know, we're not just an electric company, we're also a telecommunications company.
So does this run just fiber? Is there power in that
Nope,
runs
this
through
is
here
just
too?
four-way fiber conduit. This usually parallels our primary power trenches. Here we have a pad mount transformer, this green box that a lot of people refer to them as, that sits in your yard or sits in your neighbor's yard. And that black cable and conduit with that red stripe, that's what goes to these transformers here. Go ahead and open this up inside if you want to take a look at it.
A lot of people don't get a chance to look inside, but
No.
thankfully this one isn't plugged in, so it's the only safe time
Yeah.
to open a pad mount transformer.
This is normally locked.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
You see this danger sign here. There's another sign on the other thing. I mean, this stuff is high power. Anybody fiddling around, I mean, you touch the wrong thing and it could be tragic.
I would stay away from them altogether. They're grounded, so that's why you see people playing on them. Sometimes you see kids jumping on them things.
Okay.
It would be a very rare scenario where the outside of this case could become energized.
Right.
But if it's 7,200 volts, you don't have to touch it. Just stay away from it, and you know you're good.
Is that the boom? Every so often, someone will say, "Oh, I heard a boom. Must have been a transformer."
There is a fuse that fuses the transformer. It's held in what we call a cutout.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when that fuse blows, you'll hear a boom. People think it sounds like a shotgun. Sure. So, and they'll call us and they'll say my transformer blew up, but no, their transformer didn't blow up, but the fuse that protects the transformer did happen to open. This is what we call a recloser. And this is looking at the load or the amount of amps that are downstream. So if we have a situation where our equipment is overloaded, ideally we don't want to open up all the way back at the substation breaker. We'd rather open up and isolate the outage so that fewer people are affected. And that's where this recloser comes into place. And sometimes you'll see these on our three-phase systems where we're trying to fuse large loads downstream. And basically what this recloser is, it's a breaker, but it's got brains in it. So a breaker with brains.
And so that just helps, again, to diminish the downtime for everybody and to kind of take, well, you're not going to go out there with a huge crew and you need to replace all this stuff. We know it was a localized event.
Yeah, what's great is you see the lights blink maybe once or twice, but then they stay on. That's that recloser doing its job. And
wow.
For that limb to burn off the line. So these are really important devices.
So it's been really nice to see all these different pieces of equipment here at PUD 3. I know you're driving around, you'll see them on the power lines and out in neighborhoods and things like that. PUD 3 has worked so hard now for 85 years on making sure that they are providing safe and reliable power here, and now telecommunications, including high-speed internet to the service customers across Mason County. PUD3.org for their website has got more information on that. And yeah, thank you so much for your time. It was really cool to see that stuff.
Thank you for coming by.